UFC Saturday.
Bro,
Saturday
even
night.
the little clips on the what is called that we just had, the gloves off. What the was you doing?
Hey, you know what?
Gervonta Davis's corner. So you have Coach Calvin, and Coach Calvin is the head trainer, and you have Coach Kenny, who really specializes on preparing game plans specifically for opponents.
Gervonta Tank Davis shocked fans and media alike when he suddenly slapped Lamont Roach during an intense face-off. The moment quickly spiraled into a high-voltage confrontation as Davis, with unwavering aggression, declared that he's going to break Roach physically and mentally in their looming rematch. The tension between the two fighters was electric, and neither man showed an ounce of hesitation or fear. This explosive encounter has only amplified the animosity between them, turning their bout into more than just a title fight. It's now a bitter personal grudge match with emotions spilling over. It's setting the stage for what many are already calling one of the most emotionally charged and brutally competitive fights of the entire year. Inside the gym, Gervonta Davis has locked into a completely different mindset, one built on razor-sharp focus and quiet intensity. Under the experienced eye of his longtime coach Calvin Ford, Davis is methodically refining every tool in his arsenal. This training camp is different, intentionally stripped of distractions. Unlike before, the Washington, D.C. group that previously influenced the atmosphere is now absent, replaced with a more close-knit team bound by trust and secrecy. There's no chance of game plans leaking or strategies being exposed. Rumors from their first fight, suggesting Roach was tipped off to Davis's style, no longer carry weight. This time, everything is locked down. Davis, backed by Ford and driven by redemption, is preparing for a fight that carries higher emotional stakes and strategic complexity than ever before.
He's 100% correct. Personally, I had Gervonta Davis up a round. Because whenever you have rounds where nobody's doing anything, I'm not just going to do what most people do, and especially people that don't like Gervonta Davis, which is just give the round to the other guy because Gervonta Davis didn't manage to knock him out that round. Okay, so this is Gary Russell Jr. clearly saying, man, no, I don't think Lamont Roach won that fight. You also had Al Bernstein, and Al Bernstein, I'm telling you, is a very, very straight, fair guy. Who I don't know if he was on that call, but he used to work with Showtime. I don't know if he was on there. I don't recall if I heard him. I think it was Rolly Ronaldo that was calling it. But Al Bernstein, who was a very, very objective person, said, hey, look, no, sorry to break it to you, but Gervonta Davis won that fight. Yeah, Lamont Roach put up a really good fight, but Lamont Roach was not dynamic. He did not do anything to really separate himself from Gervonta Davis. He just kept it equal. He just tried to keep it even the entire fight. And that's not enough, again, to take the belt from the champion. Now, I do want to say that the people that thought that Lamont Roach won, I don't have any problem with that. I really don't have a problem with it at all. I personally, again, had a point for Gervonta Davis, but I could see how those swing rounds really could go, depending on who's looking at it, really could go different ways, right?
The rematch between Davis and Roach has already proven to be a massive box office draw, selling over 150,000 pay-per-view units well ahead of fight night. This overwhelming demand reflects not only the personal heat between the two men but also how invested the fans are in the outcome. The unpredictable drama of their first encounter left questions unanswered, and this rematch promises clarity or chaos. Analysts and viewers alike know this isn't just another boxing sequel. These numbers show that both men have evolved from contenders into central figures in the larger story of modern boxing. This isn't just a fight anymore, it's a cultural event.
Tank out here selling under 150,000 pay-per-views, you kidding me? Oh man, Face of Boxing, yeah, turn that shit off. Yeah, we shutting that shit down every single time. Does Shakur really want to fight Tank? I think Shakur could sell a bit more with somebody else, especially in Saudi. I feel like they can find him a dancing partner that'll do a little bit better than 150,000. Okay, I get it. This is why PBC delayed this fight for 5 months? Y'all ain't want to pay this motherfucker because y'all know he can't sell. I mean, this should have been evident. If you do the math, Tank has never been that great of a pay-per-view draw. He sold over 300K twice now in his career. He sold over 300K with Ryan Garcia. That's obvious. Ryan's the bigger star. And then he sold over 300 with Martin. He sold about 325. But when we put it in perspective, that Frank Martin fight was a comeback fight after a year layoff, so it was always going to sell. Every comeback fight's going to sell. It was one of the first pay-per-views on Amazon's new PBC deal, so they were really trying to push it. And then he had David Benavidez as the co-main event with Gary Russell and Alberto Puello under them. You take away all those factors that this wasn't a comeback fight. David Benavidez isn't the co-main event, and Amazon has now been in the game for over a year. It makes sense it only sold 150. I know there's going to be a couple of you guys in the comments. No, it sold 500K. Don't be so gullible. They didn't sell 500K. I don't know if Tank's a top... Well, I know for a fact he's not a top 5 draw in the sport of boxing anymore. Whoa. He's not selling pay-per-views. Bivol better BF just triple him. Well, Jerry, their pay-per-views are cheaper. Don't matter. All that matters is who has more eyes watching him, and Bivol and better BF do. Tanked.
Instead of completely reinventing Davis's style, his team made the deliberate choice to refine, not replace. They've carefully studied every round of the first bout and found that the issues weren't with raw skill but with misfired timing and lapses in confidence mid-fight. Armed with that knowledge, they've made surgical changes, recalibrating angles, adjusting spacing, and injecting more decisive aggression. This isn't about turning Davis into a different fighter, it's about sharpening every aspect of the one who already poses a major threat. They've purged hesitation and replaced it with controlled violence, turning him into a far more calculated and dangerous version of himself.
He got a good chin. Oh, he got a good chin. If you got a good chin, okay, let's go ahead, let's touch this. The chin ain't the only thing that can get you out of there. There's other things you can do and then go back to the chin. I won't go into details, but I look at shit different from a lot of people, man. You know what I'm saying? You got a fighter that listens. He's gonna be a hell of a fighter if he listens to what I tell him. You know, all fighters don't listen because some missions you put them on, you gotta walk through hell to get it done, and every fighter is not willing to walk through hell. You know what I mean? But the chin is not the only thing to get a fight out of it, and the body's not the only thing to get a fight out of it. It's other shit too, you know. I believe in hurting them. You gotta hurt them to get it started, you know?
PD, thank you for the $2. People were surprised by Roach and Tank. What do you think the biggest surprise was in the fight?
It wasn't a surprise because we know Roach. It wasn't a surprise. Roach can fight. A lot of people think because a person is not popular, that they don't exist. There's fighters out there that can rumble. They just got to get the opportunity, you know?
One of the most debated moments of their first fight, what looked like a knockdown, may not have been a sign of weakness after all. New reports claim that Davis was temporarily impaired by irritation from a grooming product, which affected his vision and balance in the ring. If this is accurate, it reframes the moment entirely, shifting the narrative from a vulnerability in Davis's defense to an unfortunate fluke. This revelation only strengthens the conviction of Davis's supporters, who believe his toughness and skill were never in question. As a result, Davis's team has doubled their focus on controlling every possible variable, no matter how small, to ensure nothing interrupts his performance on fight night.
Everybody really think Tank go take the L. I've been seeing it. They said it's over. They think that this time Lamont go in more confident, knowing that basically he can, really take it to Tank. Yeah, I want him to go in there confident. He's very skilled. Go in there confident. Because you gonna go up against a different Tank. Like I told y'all in previous videos. He gonna go in there confident, thinking he can walk Tank down. Don't forget, with Tank, if he hit you on that button, them lights going off. I don't care who you is. Remember how it ended up with Frank Martin. So yeah, don't go in there thinking that you going against like somebody that, like Ryan Garcia, somebody that's gonna fold. You going against Gervonta Tank Davis. And I think that confidence is what's going to get Lamont dropped. Because one thing I will say, with Tank, that wasn't your best fight against Lamont, bro. I feel like you was in your head too much. You was overconfident. and you was really just, your mind was in y'all story, the lore and everything with y'all history. You ain't going there like, I'm fighting a stranger. You going there like, oh, this Lamont, this from the same camp, we from the same area. But now I think that whole situation woke him up, because you gotta think, Tank not used to losing. He not used to people being against him. He not used to being the one that...
Former world champion Mikey Garcia shared a thoughtful perspective on Davis's chances in the rematch. While acknowledging Davis's exceptional raw talent, Garcia stressed that skill alone won't secure victory. According to him, it's Davis's mental state that will determine the outcome. The noise outside the ring, critics, media pressure, personal distractions, must be silenced. Garcia believes Davis absolutely has what it takes to win, but only if he can maintain laser-like mental clarity. The rematch, he said, is not just a test of physical skill, but a crucible for psychological resilience. Success will demand total focus, no shortcuts, no lapses.
I'll let you go because I know I got a lot of shit to do. Lamont Roach versus Gervonta, the rematch. Looks like it's going to happen, hopefully. I'd like to see it.
I think Tank wins in the rematch.
Why?
I think he'll make the right adjustments, and he won't take too long to fight. He kind of gave a lot of the round away sometimes. I think he'll be more active and he'll win. But big props to Roach for his last fight and performance. Fuck, surprised everybody.
Right.
I think he was robbed from the victory. Again, that knockdown should have been a knockdown.
Right.
But whatever, he gets a rematch, you know. And maybe they get a third fight, you know, after that. Who knows? Maybe
it turns the market back out.
Maybe it turns out to be another great fucking matchup, and they say, you know what, let's run it back.
Right.
And maybe that controversy from the first fight actually helps Roach fucking get 3 fights out of it instead of just the one, or you know, you never know. So hey, things happen for a reason, and I think he did really well in his first one.
After their first clash, social media erupted with speculation that Davis might be stepping away from boxing. But instead of letting the rumors shape his story, Davis jumped straight back into training camp. He refused to give the doubters time to breathe, responding not with tweets or interviews, but with action. His decision to immediately pursue a rematch wasn't just about settling a score, it was a statement of identity. He's not running from adversity. He's charging straight at it, determined to reclaim his narrative. This bold approach has changed the entire outlook of the rematch, from a question of decline to a powerful display of personal and professional resolve.
I want to know, when is the rematch going to happen at this point? Because I'm not going to lie, for it to be a whole month later and y'all still arguing over who actually won, it's just really like, okay, yeah, run it back, because we got to go ahead and settle this, squabble this up. I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to say neither fighter in here is shitty, okay? Because after the fight I seen on March 1st, yeah, they both was tagging shit, both getting up with each other, okay? I feel like this is the perfect match. If anybody's gonna do a rematch, you need to be on, period. And Gervonta was stinging him. I'm not gonna lie, he was stinging him. Great fight for him. But I'm not gonna lie, he came out knowing what he was trying to do. Y'all have to give it to him. Like, y'all just be hating, okay? Y'all can't get in the ring and fucking fight. Y'all just be hating. At least I'm giving him no big props, okay? Because Gervonta had a great fight. Don't get me wrong. My money was on him. But I think what messed him up was the fact that when he came out, y'all know he usually be 2 steps ahead. He was 3 steps ahead. I feel like he already had Tank figured out. And he definitely was not expecting that. And him, on the other hand, I think he came in really having something to prove. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Like, it was a really good fight, and I feel like this is how I see it. In the beginning of the fight, he was stinking, back to back, you know what I'm saying? And then at the end of the fight, that's when he finally kicked it up. But I seen consistency through him through the whole fight. I'm not gonna lie, like, so I just feel like the rematch shouldn't happen, because never know. He might, now that he was 3 steps ahead, become 8 steps ahead, and he might really knock his butt down. But at the end of the day, it's like, we need this rematch, because I don't think this is ever gonna be a dispute that is settled and, you know, officially he won, he lost until they fight. Like, we gotta see it.
Veteran trainer and analyst Teddy Atlas weighed in with a deeper look at Davis's strengths. While fans often highlight his knockout power and flashy highlights, Atlas emphasized the subtle, cerebral parts of Davis's game. His sense of timing, his ability to control distance, and his composure under pressure all separate him from average fighters. Atlas pointed out that when the chaos in the ring rises, Davis doesn't fall apart, he calculates. His ability to stay calm, think clearly, and execute with surgical precision makes him a serious threat when it counts most. It's not just his hands that are dangerous, it's his mind.
Try to get to us, but we're going to frustrate him. He doesn't get frustrated. He takes his time. He's deliberate. You know, a lot of times at the beginning, people thought he was just a seek and destroy missile. They thought he was just a guy that got to you. And they thought that he would get over anxious. He don't get over anxious. He takes his time. He slowly closes those gaps. You know, inch by inch, step by step, and then he gets to.
Sports commentator Stephen H. Smith added another layer to the discussion, spotlighting the physical mismatch that could tilt the rematch. While Roach is an exceptional technician with high ring IQ, Smith argued that Davis's raw physical attributes, his strength, reach, and body control, could be overwhelming. If the fight turns gritty and shifts into close quarters combat, Roach might not be able to keep up. Smith believes this fight won't be won solely on precision or strategy. It could come down to who can impose their physical will, and in that realm, Davis may have the clear upper hand.
And lastly, Stephen, a last name I of course want to throw your way is Gervonta Davis. I know you believe in his skills.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
What do you think of his fight with Roach? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think Roach is too small. I think Roach is too small. And that's my issue. I'm not questioning the skill set or anything like that. But it was similar to Frank Martin. You know what I mean? This guy comes in there and you got 18 fights. And I remember watching that pre-fight press conference when he was annoying Gervonta Davis so much and he cussed by accident. Excuse me. He cussed by accident. He was like, "Ooh, you know, making this up. He hurt me in sparring," and you know, and I knew Gervonta was gonna come for him, and sure enough, that's what he did. Walked right towards him from round one on. But you know, I remember what he said, and it really, really struck me. Gervonta's a smart dude, bro, and he said you really should have waited. You don't have enough experience. You really should have waited and took your time before you came to me. And that's what Gervonta Davis told him. And he was right.
Davis is attacking this camp with a fire that feels deeply personal. This isn't just about avenging a frustrating performance, it's about reclaiming his position at the top. Every workout, every drill, every sparring session is being done with full intensity. He's not looking to edge out a win, he's aiming for dominance. His energy in camp reveals a fighter who feels underestimated and disrespected, and that chip on his shoulder is fueling a relentless grind. Davis is training not like a star defending a title, but like a man trying to prove he still belongs. That hunger makes him especially dangerous.
Step back from the situation. That's why I think he's being hushed right now, because when he come this time, it ain't no talking. And that's why I think it's scary, because we never see Tank in that mode where he don't say a word. I think this gonna be a different Tank. And what's crazy is Tank used to be like that in the beginning, like when he was with Floyd. Like, I'm talking about Tank with the fade, with the waves, bro. He ain't used to be on that showboat and stuff until he got, like, you know, a little bit more in the boxing, you know, thing. Of course, once you with Floyd, you gonna start being flashy and doing backflips off the ring. But in his beginning stages, dude wasn't playing. He was dropping I think that's what he about to go to, bro. And we know that people like, man, did he take Calvin off his team? Nah, like he said, Calvin his boy. I think he's just rocking with somebody else right now to get him some sharper skills, you know, to change up his skill and what people know him by. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I think Tank will take it to Lamont. And that's not me being biased. I think we ain't never seen Tank like this.
To sharpen his preparation even further, Davis has brought in respected trainer Kenny Ellis, a no-nonsense technician known for his structured, militaristic approach. Ellis doesn't tolerate laziness. Every drill has a purpose, every mistake is corrected in real time. Under Ellis, Davis is tightening every element of his craft: foot placement, guard transitions, timing counters, and movement efficiency. This isn't just about hitting harder, it's about outthinking and outmaneuvering Roach. With Ellis in his corner, Davis's team becomes not just a support system, but a well-oiled machine capable of surgical in-fight adjustments. They're preparing for every possible scenario.
Best trainers in boxing, second guy in the corner, is responsible for a lot of the real tactical decisions and tactical analysis that goes on in Gervonta Davis's corner. So you have Coach Calvin, and Coach Calvin is the head trainer, and you have Coach Kenny, who really specializes on preparing game plans specifically for opponents. So to have him talk about what's going on with Lamont Roach, I thought was interesting and insightful, because what he said was that One, he's not falling for the okie doke. When Mill City asked him, hey, what do you think about the fact that, that Lamont Roach was seen at a basketball game chugging a beer? And I would have added to the question that you see Lamont Roach out giving a bunch of interviews, doing the interview circuit, right? Kind of being a little bit out of character leading into the rematch. Do you think, and this is what Mill City asked, do you think that is something you guys are taking in consideration in preparation for the fight? And what Kenny Ellis said was, look, man, we're not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. We know what Lamont Roach brings to the table, and he says that Lamont Roach is, we're not believing that he's out there drinking or blowing up a bunch of weight and all of that. He says what most people say, hey, we're going to prepare for the best version of Lamont Roach that is going to, that'll come for us. But the way that he saw the fight coming out was he said he sees it like the fight before, a lot of really crisp shots landing.
That's it for today's breakdown. Stay tuned as the rematch approaches, because if this build-up has shown anything, it's that Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach is more than just a fight. It's a statement, a war, and possibly a legacy-defining moment for both fighters.